What is the biggest everyday scam that people put up with? Ticketmaster and their resale policies. We arrest fine ticket people who scalp outside of venues, but it's perfectly legal to resell the tickets on Ticketmaster or StubHub because the website gets a kickback, and that's just messed up to me. Also processing convenience fees when no other option to purchase exists. Susan G. Komen Foundation. People love this for some reason. I hate that. You make a donation? Most of that money pays the board of execs. Barely any goes to research. Documentation fees when buying a car from a dealer. When I bought my car in August, I hammered out all the details before closing on Tuesday, leaving with a written price and a promise to come back the next day with a check from my credit union. Wednesday morning I come in with everything ready, only to have the person looking at the final paperwork with me quickly gloss over the $150 documentation fee. I stopped them there and said I'd brought a check for $X, not $X plus $150. They insisted it was necessary and non-negotiable. I insisted I'd take my business elsewhere. Have a good morning. They hemmed and hawed about it, but eventually got permission to lower the price of the car $150 so my check would be enough. I tend to let people walk all over me, so I was really proud of myself for standing up this time. Bolt-on fees for bullshit that takes no time at all and generally doesn't have material cost. Booking fees and the like. I'm looking at you. Convenience fee. Processing fee. Administrative fee. Late payment fee. Early payment fee. Fee. I recently had to pay an extra $2 to get a PDF version of my unofficial college transcript instead of a paper one. Jelly juice. The woman gets destroyed on Dr. Phil about her pseudoscience, yet she's still making a killing. If Dr. Phil says no, then it must be really bad. Paying service fees when paying for something online. Delivery charge on tickets that you are printing at home is another one. Direct-to-consumer prescription dog marketing. People shouldn't go to the doctor and ask for a dog they saw on a commercial by name. That's just insane to me. Commercials like that are illegal in my country. You can only advertise over-the-counter medicine. I'm not sure this qualifies, but payday loans. I haven't ever done one, but they are obviously all over and they prey on poor decisions made by poor people. Hundreds if not thousands of % interest just because people can't get out of the trap that they put you into. Predatory lending is just awful. People get into this routine and can't get out because they are drowning in fees. I'm a loan officer at a credit union and we hate these places. We will give debt cons. Loans to these people to pay the insane interest for people who don't even qualify for them to save their credit, so they stop using payday loans, title loans. That we have no effing control over our own technology. I can't turn off Cortana. I have to edit like 30 things to F with my core files. Tech is getting less and less friendly to people who actually want to mess with it. At least Linux is a thing. And more stuff is supporting it. 50% sale on every effing shop window. Don't discuss your pay with fellow employees. Part of me understands that it's kind of tacky to do so, but I read that it was the company's way of not paying people what they deserve. I've never heard a company directly say this, but it is so ingrained in us culture they really don't need to. Diamonds artificial scarcity. Not sure how scam this is considered, but internet package prices. It is super easy and cheap to provide basic internet speeds these days with the foundation we've already laid, so when ISPs charge insane amounts for a mediocre package, that's very much abusing their regional monopoly powers. Like Spectrum. We had TWC and had 300 Mbps internet for $69.99 month. Spectrum took over and our speed slowed to 100 Mbps, but they marketed to us as it being a 5.00 savings. Now they say that their lines can't handle any faster speeds. Beauty product commercials. Especially mascara commercials. They are like, wow, look how good this mascara is, and the woman is so clearly wearing false lashes. Black Friday sales. The thing that made me realize how effed it all is was working in a furniture store. We were selling these small storage ottomans for Black Friday. Regular price, $39.99. Sale price, $19.99. You know how much we paid for them? A refined dollar. I'm breaking my NDA by telling you all this, lol. Last year, I was at a store looking at coats in late September early October. I happened to notice one I liked and bought for $30. Went in early November to look at something else and the same coat was now around $50. Went in on Black Friday and the coat was on sale for $35. Textbooks. At least at us universities. Depending on the subject they can cost anywhere from $100 minus $400 US per book. New editions are released annually to ensure that the content remains up to date. And the price remains high. For an egregious example, I had a graduate level economics course that required a $300 textbook, $150 when rented for the semester, which actually had an international version available online that was the exact same book but instead cost $60 retail. The only thing is that the book was listed as being not for distribution in the US. I spent $150 on a lab manual this semester and it didn't even have any binding. Just the pages. F them. Seriously. A few weeks ago I was in London, enjoying many of the completely free museums they have to offer. I wondered why such world famous museums would be free when they could easily charge money. I saw a sign that said, "This museum is made free due to lottery funds." And I thought it was really cool how lottery taxation and profits in London go towards making something so amazing free. I don't know how much lottery money in the States really does go to helpful causes. But I hope it's a lot and isn't just a scam. In Georgia it pays for heavily subsidized in-state college tuition. The new and used car market in the United States. I don't think there is a field more shady and potentially harmful to the consumer. Various forms of MLM. And those naive people on FB defending schemes they work for. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a multi-level marketing job. B. This is pyramid scheme. My niece has recently got involved in one of these. When I met her recently she kept shoehorning it into the conversation about how she's running a business. Yeah, my neighbor sells it works and I try to avoid her at this point because she is constantly trying to recruit my girlfriend to sell under her or trying to get me to buy products for her. Also makes grandiose claims that it's helped her lose 20 pounds over a few months, etc. I've known my neighbor since school. We are roughly the same age, and she was at most 110 pounds soaking wet. If she lost 20 pounds she would be dead. College textbooks. You change a goddamn picture and release it as a new version and broke college kids have to buy it. It's the goddamn worst. Buy a $200 new textbook. At the end of the year the bookstore will buy it back for $14. Nothing shady about that at all. Razor blade prices. Winston. Do you got any razor blades I could have? Not one. I've been using the same one for 6 months myself. Selling water at a few dollars a bottle. Multi-level marketing schemes. Similar schemes bankrupted entire countries before but they somehow churn along just fine in the form of Amway. Mom's losing money. Renting your Wi-Fi router from the cable company. Not sure how this hasn't been mentioned yet but you'd pay for one in less than a year if you just buy it at the start. A caveat. If you purchase your own equipment they will try to blame your equipment every time you're having an issue with your service. You can generally push past their insistence and get help but you need to be prepared to tell them to quit their bullsh. I moved houses but kept my ISP, good price and offers gigabit fiber. When the guy came out to set up at the new house he was looking through my paperwork and said, "Oh, looks like you're renting the router from us. Well, you've basically already paid for it. So I'm going to mark that you own your own and just leave it with you." Good guy, ISP guy. I haven't seen it yet. But Mattress Firm must be a hoax. They are always having a blowout sale and there is never an employee to be seen. Junk is approaching you at the train bus station with a bullshit story like, "Hey buddy, I just worked a 12-hour night shift and I forgot my cash at home. Could you give me 50 cents so I can grab a coffee and a ticket to get home?" It becomes a bit awkward if you see the same guy with the very same story 3 days in a row. 10 years ago I visited Leeds in the UK. On my way to the station a man approached telling me he needed 20p to get his bus home. He'd forgotten his card and thought he had the right change. I didn't have change, so apologized and moved on. A year ago. 9 years later. I was in the very same station and he was still there. He asked again for 20p to get home and explained the situation. I had to give him the money. Can you believe it? He'd been there for 9 years and nobody had given him 20p. Built-in obsolescence. Consumers spend good money to buy products that are designed to fail or become obsolete in order to stimulate further sales. Not only that, but replacement parts become unavailable or are so expensive to buy and install that consumers end up replacing the item completely, even though it should have much more useful life. This is mine too. So hugely immoral and unethical, but people like getting new toys so it's barely noticed unless you're poor. Airline fees. Fees to check a bag. Fees to carry on a bag. Fees to get a seat assignment. Fees to get a seat assignment on the second leg of your flight. Your cheap $300 ticket just turned into a $500 flight. Infuriating. Why can't we live in a world where we don't have to expect that any call from a number not in our contacts is a scam or spam 99% of the time? Paying a giant cable bill to watch commercials. Outrageous title insurance fees every time you buy or refinance a house. $50 FedEx fee please. But the docs were emailed? Having to give your email address out to basically any company you buy something from so they can spam your inbox. Yes, I'm aware you can unsubscribe. But it's a pain in the A. I've got a life to live and it doesn't involve meticulously curating my email inbox on a regular basis. If you tell the truth I won't get mad. Which usually turns into no. I'm not mad. And then 2 minutes later. I just think it's funny how. Cell phone data. They sell it like it's a finite resource. Like they'll run out if they give you too much. But yet if you don't use it all that month, none of it rolls over. In Canada we also pay the same amount of money for 2 GB that other countries get 100 GB or more for. It really is disgusting. I was in China this summer and got essentially unlimited data, 40 GB. Then capped speed, for $15 a month. So sad coming back to get fed.